legal status of the lawmakers in the state. Now, I do remember, I think the CSOs in River State are in court. Some elders in River State are in court. However, the news that got to me this morning is that the Labour Party in River State has also gone to court. And I'm wondering why now? What is there to achieve? Based on what legal advice have they decided to make this decision? Is it late? Is it not late? Have they considered many factors? All of these questions I will be throwing at my guest who is in the studio. Remember, you're listening to Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info, and I am Kala Dakarubatma. And with me in the studio is Olumati Isaiah. He was the Labour Party candidate. He was gunning for the office of the House of Assembly member representing Port Harcourt Constituency 1, Falga Constituency 1. Welcome on the show, Mr. Olumati Isaiah.
Thank you, Kalada, for having me.
All right. First question. What's with this suit, please?
Sorry?
What's with this move by Labour Party in River State? What's with the suit? I'm trying to understand it, please.
Yeah. Well, it's simple. I mean, we all know the activities that have been going on in the River State, but simply put, our role in this time is to see that we are able to preserve the dignity of the Constitution itself.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are looking at a situation where a couple of people have gone outside the provisions of the law. We gave it a while to see that we do the best consultation, whilst hoping that the right things would probably have been done with the particular party in question. However, up until this time, nothing really has been done that makes sense for what represents the law. And we have said to ourselves that it would be an aberration of everything we represent if we are going to stand by the lines and just observe. So we have decided to take up that responsibility, which really, before political, is a civic responsibility, to see that people go in alignment with the law, especially if they are going to be, political office holders by the Constitution.
But there are two groups, like I just mentioned not so long ago, who are doing something similar. So when you say that you've had time to think and watch, and you're yet to see, something tangible, what difference will this suit bring to the table, to the River State, so to say?
First, I'd like you to understand that we do appreciate what they are doing, right? The civic responsibility is for all. That someone is taking a responsibility in a particular direction does not stop us from complementing that effort that they are putting in, right? So they have their peculiar argument. I think one group is arguing over the said agreement between the sitting governor, and that is not our debate. We have really no business with that. We are just on the fact that a couple of people deemed it fit to defect from their party. And the Constitution, according to Section 109, is clear that if you move from the party that has put you in that office to another party, then your seat, can and will be declared vacant. Okay.
So, what does the Labour Party petition the court for? As in, what exactly are you asking for? You've just mentioned defection, yes. So, but what exactly, are you asking for an interpretation of that section of the Constitution? Are you asking the court to declare the seats vacant and, for INEC to conduct a new and fresh election? What exactly are you asking for?
We're asking for the seats to be declared vacant, and in 90 days, fresh elections, by-elections should hold.
Interesting.
Yeah, 90 days.
I don't think it's yet a court, like the court proceedings have started. You just served the petition to court, and the question I want to ask is, assuming this goes your way, have you put into consideration the sensitive nature of elections in River State? How usually, there are blows and gunshots and dynamites and, people lose their lives. Do you think we are ready for such, given some of the experiences we had last year at 2023?
I think that the life we live is always ready to be better. right? And sadly, you'd never run away from troubles. You actually grow on the back of troubles.
Okay.
Whilst that would be the case, the truth is, if you run away from that trouble now, Mr. Kalada, you will meet that trouble in 2027. If you run away from it in 2027, it will be there in 2031. So we have to face it, right? We have to go heads on. It's what we have now. But what is more important, like I say, is that we preserve the dignity of the Constitution and preserve the sanity of Rivers people.
Now, talking about preserving the dignity of the Constitution and the sanity of Rivers people, the president, like you mentioned in one of those suits, had a conversation with the political actors in Rivers State, and there was what I call Abuja Accord. I like to call it that, where they had some agreements and they signed, and it looks like these people are supposed to be, or who are actually custodians of the Constitution: the governor, the president, the legislators, the FCT minister. They have all agreed, and it looks like these defectors have been accepted, because we see at events when they are where they are referred to as defectors, APC members. Akpabi was in the state; he made reference to that. So we've seen all of these things happen. We've heard Tony Okocha also recognize them as members of his party. So if that be the case, do you think it's going to be an easy journey that you and your party are about to embark on?
Well, it may not be easy, but what is more important for us is that all of that play is subject to the law. All of that play is subject to the law. No individual is above the law. So we are coming from the perspective of the law, not whatever internal arrangement that or politicking. Once all of those agreements are not in tandem with the law, then it's really not important to us, right? What is important to us is, are we doing right by the law? Are we doing right by the Constitution?
But I understand where you're coming from, but we've seen a situation where the top political actors at play, you know how Nigeria is. I don't want to say certain things, so I don't tarnish the image of certain institutions. But corruption is usually key in Nigeria, and we say we're fighting corruption, but it looks like corruption is fighting back as well.
Yeah.
So once again, if these prominent political actors have come to some sort of agreement, whether they like it or not, but for the time being, let's leave things as they are till 2027. You embarking, your party embarking, I know your party is playing opposition, but your party embarking on this, have you considered, have you weighed the pros, the cons, and how difficult the battle will be?
We have weighed the pros, we have weighed the cons, and the pros outweigh the cons, right?
Okay.
What is the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen? Really, nothing much. Nothing much can happen. Nothing really much can happen. You can't shut the people down, right? So at the end of the day, we know that we are going in for a stiff battle, if you will, and then we are ready to go all out and match it strength for strength, as it were, on the back of the law.
Okay. Now, I don't know. I still will throw this question at you.
Yeah.
You must have heard the story of what happened to the governor's supporters in Eche. You must have heard the story of what happened to the governor's supporters in Awuda West. Is it Akiniman now? I can't remember now. You must have also heard what happened to the governor's special assistant now, special advisor now, in Ikwere local government areas. So we've seen all of these things play out. Imagine if it were, we're not yet in an election cycle. Imagine if it were an election now, how things will be like, how tense things will be like. Once again, are we ready for this?
Kalada, for many years, election in Rivers State has been tensed, right? For every of those years, people have come in to swim the murky waters of that tension. Whilst it may not be any different from that time, we are ready to go all out to protect the Constitution, preserve the Constitution as it were, and serve the people of Rivers State if it comes to that. Right? So we are not saying it's going to be easy. We are not expecting it to be easy either, but we are willing to go in and do what is right. That's what's more important.
This court case, this suit now.
Yes.
Is it on the confidence? How do I put this question? How do I coin it now? Now, in recent times, we've heard some politicians come out to make certain confessions that Labour Party may have won the elections last year. Is it on the backdrop of this confidence that the people who may have been involved, now emphasis on may have been involved in the rigging out of Labour Party, have confessed? Is that why the party is deciding to, let's challenge this, let's go for a fresh election with the belief that you will win the election? But hold that thought. We'll go for a quick commercial. When we come back, I would like to get your answer to that question. And to you listening, remember, you can watch us live on Facebook, Nigerian for PH, and you can watch us live on YouTube, Nigerian for PH, and you can watch or interact with us on X, Nigerian for PH. Send your WhatsApp messages to 0809 030 6416.
I beg, give me 200 naira 9 mobile recharge card.
Nigeria Info.
Okay, 26 minutes gone past the hour of 4. Yes, I just looked at the calendar now. Today is the 1st of March, and I have not said Happy New Month to you. But hey, Happy New Month to you nonetheless. You're listening to Hard Faction 92.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Kaladako Ribatabo. We're having a conversation with Olumati Isaiah, who happened to be a candidate during the last election, and he was running for the office of representative of Port Harcourt Constituency 1 at the River State House of Assembly. And we're talking about Labour Party in River State going to court, asking the courts to declare the seats of the 27 lawmakers who defected to the APC vacant, and mandating INEC to conduct a by-election within 90 days. And just when we thought that matter may have been swept to a corner, pushed to a corner, the Labour Party has decided to join the fray. Welcome once again.
Thank you, Canada.
Now, before we went for the commercial, I asked the question. Now, we've heard about 2 confessions now from prominent members of the PDP who came out to say that we know what we did. Labour Party won the election. We rigged them. I don't want to call names. I don't want to mention people, but you must have seen those videos online. One was even very most recent. Is that the confidence that the Labour Party is taking? That's why they're going to court?
No, far from it, Mr. Kalada. Quite frankly, for my constituency, I won the elections. I have all my receipts, all my results.
The courts.
I didn't go to court. I didn't bother going to court.
All right then.
Right, but I have documents, and I keep those documents very there for very important times when we'll make references. Right, but nonetheless, we're far from that conversation.
But I need to say something now. Your documents are not official documents, so we may not. I mean, INEC had their own results.
Don't worry.
Like I said, we didn't go to court, so let's leave it. Let's leave it at that.
They are official documents.
Okay.
Nonetheless, we are going to court on the back. We're not talking about the elections. We've moved past that, so we are at the part where we say, look, there have been a dent to the Constitution and we need that to be corrected. And even if it's going to take another 3 years, right, we're going to be on the back of that to see that it's corrected. If it's going to take that long, we will be on the back of that to see that it's corrected.
I understand, but really, for you to come out with conduct an election within 90 days, are you saying that
that is constitutional?
I know it is. I know it's what is written. I know what's written. I'm just saying, for you to be able to happen that and say we want to follow the letters of the Constitution, you are an opposition party in this state. And if I should ask, a lot of people will say, oh, you're not even number one opposition party. People would always think APC is number one opposition party. And that's why I'm throwing the question to you. Is it because you believe that, if there is a fresh election, that the Labour Party will do very well?
I think we should not talk about if the Labour Party will do very well. That's inconsequential if you ask me. Yeah, what is consequential is that we return back to the place of the law.
So it doesn't matter what party wins the election.
It doesn't matter now. What matters now is that we bring back everything on the back of the law as it should be. That's what's priority. Any other party can win, no problem. No problems. But let us just get back on the back of the law and preserve it for history's sake. Because, we're going to have people will make references to this, right? People will make references to this. And this is how we have a complete breakdown of law and order.
Now, some have argued, because I remember when we'll talk about this a lot, callers will call in, and some have argued that this will slow down the development of the state, and they've said all political actors and everybody involved should sheath their swords and withdraw their cases and all of that stuff. For instance, I'm thinking right now, imagine if the court sways the pendulum in the direction of the petitioner and they are asked to leave. It means that whoever wins would have an elongated time in office. There's the possibility that you would have to spend an extra if let's say the result comes tomorrow, an extra 9 months thereabout. Will that not change things, affect development, given the kind of politics we play in River State? Did you put that into consideration when you were doing all of this?
Allow me to make an example here.
Okay.
Right? If someone has a bad sore that is eating away the leg, do we worry about how he's going to adjust if it requires chopping off that leg? You see, worrying about that adjustment is not something we should invest in. We should worry about, and I like the fact that you have stated that some people have called in to say, or have had the conversation saying, will all of this not slow the government down or the process of governance? Kalada, we have never experienced a slowdown in governance like we are experiencing today, because we have a House of Assembly that is literally anti the governor. Whatever they are fighting for, we don't know, but this is really slowing down governance, as it were, right? So we are already experiencing a slowdown in governance, and so the negative.
And so one would think,
negative.
I agree. See, not that I agree, but I understand you. Yes. But one would think that so since we have a slowdown in the negative that we should be resolving, we should be negotiating, coming up with agreements, just like the president tried to achieve with the FCT minister and the governor.
We can't resolve on the back of an error. Unfortunately, we are not even a part of their party, right? And even if we're going to be a part of their party, we are clear on what we represent, right? We represent equity, we represent justice as a party, Labour Party. That's what we represent. So these people are in clear violation of the law. We cannot negotiate on the back of that violation. We have to come back to status quo and get it right. When we get it right, then we can now discuss governance going forward from their angle.
Opposition party, how well do you think in the last 8-9 months the Labour Party has been able to play the opposition? I know in Nigeria when we talk opposition, we're thinking violence and vile and all the negatives, but in true sense of governance, opposition is very key. It's it's a very key instrument to put the government on its toes and always be on the right path. Or always bring the government back to the right path when they, skid off and all of that. So how well do you think Labour Party is played? And from your interactions in the Labour Party, being one of their members and a notable prominent one at that, how do you think the Labour Party will also be playing opposition going forward? Now, with this suit that Rivers people are not getting to hear about, what else should we be expecting in terms of opposition in the state?
Well, I think we've played very well with the opposition. The greater expectation is what is popular, which is unnecessary bickering. And we're not falling for unnecessary bickering, right? We're watching the politics. Right now, technically, the government really has been stalled, except for infrastructural projects that are going up here and there, which we very well commend. I think these projects are amazing and they are going to be very valuable to the lives of the Rivers people. But then again, aside from that, we have an assembly that is stalling the governor. So really, governance has not kicked in its fullest, right? So there is really nothing to oppose than what we are opposing right now. The fact that we have a said assembly that is sitting against the law and then stalling the leadership of the state, and that's where we are focused.
Listening to you now, I'm reminded of what your governorship candidate Beatrice Utubor said at some point when she visited the governor. That she withdrew her case at the Supreme Court so she could work with the government for the development of the people. Now, looking at Labour Party going on these suits, and given that the governor has been silent for a while, people who like to talk politics and who do political deductions, one will think that this is an indirect way of supporting the governor. Is that what it is? Or you're going to still say it's based on the Constitution?
But look, we're very clear. Yeah,
I understand all the theories you've put out on the show. I get you, and I get you clearly. I get my point. But I'm saying people who talk politics and who do political deductions would place 1 and 2 together and look back and say, oh, Beatrice Utubor shook hands with Siminalayi Fubara, His Excellency, and said, oh, I will work with your government to see the development of River State. But then after that, or when she said that, there was this political drama, this political battle. And so I'm asking, could it be an indirect way, or, in political terms, could this be a fight for the governor?
Far from it. We're not fighting for the governor, right? As it were. But this is it. Beatrice Utubor, being a member of the Labour Party and a flag bearer for the governorship, has every right within the Constitution to concede, which she did for her various reasons, right? And as a Rivers daughter, because right now we have just one governor, there's nobody contesting or contending for governorship, right? We all have the responsibility, whether we are opposing, disagreeing. The crux of the matter is, if we have one governor, we have to find a way to make sure that we give and lend the best support. That lending the best support includes criticism, includes shedding idea. We are not coming on the back of supporting the governor, as it were. Our problem now, our focus now is we have a certain group of persons that are anti the law, and we are not going to stand for that. We are not going to represent that. After that point, should we find ourselves at that point of responsibility after the election, maybe in the House, by all means, it is part of our responsibility to help the executive arm of government to see that they are able to do their responsibility as best as we can.
Okay. I have heard the Labour Party complain about the judiciary on several occasions, I beg your pardon, national level, state level, different state levels actually. You've gone to court now. Do you think that the judiciary will do justice to this? Just asking.
We're hoping so. I'm going to be careful not to prompt it, but we're hoping so.
All right then. Let's open the phone lines. You're listening. I'd like to hear from you. What are you thinking? as it relates or pertains to this conversation that we're having on the show. I'd like to hear from you your thoughts. I'd like to hear from you your opinions. Labour Party has joined the fray here in River State, and they have taken the matter to court. Just when we thought things were beginning to, to pipe down, they have decided to go to court, and they have joined the likes of the civil society organizations, the elders, to probe this part of the Constitution that talks on defection of a lawmaker. And they are saying, indeed, there is some illegality, and it has to be, removed from our system, or else it will become a problem. So, okay, call me right now, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. What are you thinking? What is on your mind? I'd like to hear concerning this. Do you think this is quality opposition from the Labour Party? Do you think this will stall the development of River State? What do you make of the situation? I'd like to hear. I've got JJ, and it's calling from Port Harcourt Township. All right, JJ.
Canada, good evening.
Yes, still afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Oh, what do I know?
I mean, you know something, that's why you called in.
Let me greet your guest in the studio.
All right.
I must say, the saying that evil strive when good people stay by and do or say nothing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I want to thank him and his party for coming out to make sure that they are part of this whole thing. There's already a Supreme Court judgment on this matter, so it's not like you're doing a new thing and you just want peace to reign in society. But to also correct something, the lawmakers don't have this idea of elongated tenure like you have in the executive, especially when it's another party, right? So if they have done 2 years and they conduct election, another party comes, all they do is just 2 years. There's nothing like this one coming or this one not extending.
All right.
So it's a good move you people are making, and I say you got all my support. Thank you very much.
But JJ, before you go, I thought you were, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought you were in the governor's camp, right? You're in the governor's camp.
I'm not in the governor's camp just for the governor's camp. I'm the SA on electronic media.
Okay,
to the governor.
all right. I just wanted you to put out there. Before you go, don't run. Wait, JJ. Now, you're part of the governor's camp, and the governor's...
It's not a bad camp. I said
wait now.
SA.
Okay. Essay. I should call you accordingly, right? Essay. Your governor, your principal, has made an agreement with the president. So you say Labour Party should go to court. Are you not making mockery of that agreement?
Which agreement are you talking about?
The one he said he will do with all of his heart. The one he will keep to with all of his heart.
Does the agreement supersede the Constitution?
But my point
we are
exactly.
talking about constitutional matter. Was the Labour Party part of the agreement? They are going to court now.
But I'm saying your support, JJ.
See how it pan out at the end of the history.
All right.
In justice, there's what they call fair decisive.
Okay.
That's what they want to tell.
All right then.
By decided cases, some cases have been decided on this matter,
all right,
and they are on it already to see how to interpret it at the end of the day.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with whether it's an agreement or not an agreement.
Okay.
The agreement does not supersede the Constitution.
I agree, but I'm asking if you're making a mockery of the agreement, being that it's an in-party affair.
Not to make mockery of any agreement.
All right then. The
governor has said, I will implement for as long as it doesn't jeopardize or mortgage the freedom of Rivers people.
All right then.
You didn't hear that part too?
All right, JJ, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Jude from Omuma, welcome. What is on your mind? Please tell me.
Yeah, I completely agree with the guy in your studio. He has spoken very, very well. If people say that going to challenge what has been done wrong, some of which are constitutional matters, will slow down development or governance. It's erroneous. It's not true.
Okay.
We have to fight to get justice. We have to fight to do what is right. And when these are done, we are done without number. We talk of peace, peace, peace. You cannot have peace without justice. No matter what people say, they just say it, but it doesn't work. All these constitutional issues that are being challenged, we make for peace. If they are genuinely handled, it will make for peace. Peace cannot come on injustice. So people saying you are slowing down development, you are slowing down governance is not true. It will strengthen and bring fast development.
All right.
So people should think in that direction.
All right, then.
And not be thinking of peace.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Jude.
Doesn't come. You people in the conflict resolution, is a theory you people use. And I say it's not true. It's not true.
All right.
You want to resolve conflict, you say, let there be peace. And then somebody is making peace on injustice. He is crying. He is cutting down his head. He said peace.
All right, Jude, I've got to go. Jude, I've got to go.
Has to be challenged and done right.
All right.
And then there will be genuine peace.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Jude. God's power from HA. Welcome. Oh, my. Sorry about that, God's power. Keep your calls coming. Let's hear your thoughts. This one says, greetings, Kalada. Some people and politicians in Rivers State need to stop all of the unnecessary political shenanigans in the state. Rivers State does not exist in isolation in the country. In fact, some of the activities of these set of people is actually making mockery of Rivers before other states in the federal. He said in June 2022, before the 2023 general election, some federal legislature members, the senator representing Kebbi Central Senatorial District, Adamu Aliero, Kebbi North Senatorial District, Yahya Abdullah, who was the Senate leader, including a member of the House of Representatives, defected from the APC to the PDP. Some state lawmakers equally defected from the APC to the PDP in Kebbi State. It was alleged that the procedures to which congresses in the state were conducted by the APC resulted in the mass exit from the party, where many members alleged that they were disenchanted. There was no crisis in APC at the national level, but the aforementioned lawmakers defected to PDP. By then, Section 109, subsection G, the Constitution was not operational, but the defectors did not lose their seats on the ground of their defection because that provision of the law is not automatic. The Senate President, the Speaker of House of Representatives, and the Speaker of Kebbi State House of Assembly needed to play a role as recommended by the law. Why are some people behaving as if Rivers State exists in isolation of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? It is really a shame. Emi Fiaga. All right, I've got Mufasa from D-Line. Mufasa, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you.
Yes, good evening once again, Kalada, and good evening to Honorable Olumati. You see, Kalada, I want us to understand that we operate a constitutional democracy in this country, and there are laid down procedures to follow when carrying out certain activities. Now, assuming there was a certain agreement between the governor of Rivers State and the president as to regard issues that borders on constitution, does that agreement also cover a candidate from the Labour Party? That is a question, because even if the governor decides to, let things slide because he's a man with a peaceful disposition, the governor does not even want a breakdown of law and order. He has already said that he will not do anything that will compromise our shared democratic values. And now a candidate of the Labour Party is saying that as a party, what they want is justice. What they want is due process to be followed. Even if they did not win, if there is a rerun. And I hope that a rerun is organized by INEC. But they have made a very strong statement. That is how democracy is practiced.
Okay.
That you just blatantly violate the Constitution because you have the backing of the president. Things are not done that way. So I want to encourage the gentleman in the studio. It doesn't matter even if you don't win at the end of the day. But what will be in an annals of it is that in the face of injustice, good men came out to speak and stand for what is right.
All right.
That's the position, Kalada. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you very much, Mufasa from D-Line. Keep those calls coming in. I'd like to hear from you, but I'm going to read some more messages now. This one says, for the Constitution to consider that section of law, for the Constitution to consider that section of lawmakers who defected to lose their seat, the writers and the National Assembly then knew how cumbersome it may be for a rerun under 90 days, but not as cumbersome as not to correct what is wrong. If the Labour Party can pursue this matter to its logical conclusion, it will be a welcome development. Lady V with that one. This one says, good day, Canada. Governor Sim Fubara is yet to employ Rivers youths, a technocrat who knows better to get the youths working. We are doing congratulations rally, still believing. Okay, I think I've moved past that conversation. Let's see. This one says, my name is Comrade Odiadi Godspa Positive from Ususu JK1 Ngeni and Awelga, River State. My question to your guests in the studio is that do we have the constitutional right to seek redress in this issue? Because I remember you have brought in so many lawyers who have interpreted that part of the Constitution in different ways that for me I am confused with the Nigerian Constitution. So yeah, did your lawyer give you the legal advice as to whether you have the local standing, I think that's what they call it in legal terms, to go to court on this matter?
Yes, we do have the local standing. I mean, like JJ rightly pointed out, but in the right terms, we are interested parties. In the case, we are a recognized party in Nigeria. We had our candidates run for the 2023 election, right? So we have vested interest in this regards. So if anything, whilst it is a civic responsibility that everybody should find a way to come to the fore, but people like us, people who are under the umbrella of a recognized political party, should champion this as interested parties.
Okay. All your guests said are correct. So whoever that goes to equity must come with a clean. I think you did not complete that message, but I get you. You meant clean hands, right? Let's see this one. This one says, good evening, Kyle. The guest in the studio. Okay. Good evening, Kyle, and the guest in the studio. My name is Frank from Owerri. Don't know if those lawmakers that defected were not properly directed by their legal advisors, because the 2022 Electoral Act stipulates once you're elected on any political party, when you defect, you lose your position. So I stand with Labour Party. Thanks. I've not seen that part of the
Kalada, yes,
Electoral Act.
You need to study Section 109.
I know Section 109.
All of
yes.
that down to the end. But you now see why it is important that we make this move, because essentially we have a group of lawmakers who have been sitting in office since for the last 80 years, right? Through the last 80 years, and hoping to continue, who do not understand the Constitution. How do people who do not understand the Constitution or the laws within the Constitution now take responsibility to champion creating laws for the state? So we have, and we have to say it for what it is. We have a gathering of incompetent people representing a people. Recently, you can see that they have now begun to attempt to repeal some of the laws that they put in place, because they have now realized that the laws they put in place is not going to be in their favor anymore. Not necessarily the favor of Rivers people, but they are playing politics with the law. The law is laws and policies are supposed to affect the lives of the people going forward.
So are you saying lawmaking, because once again you wanted to be a lawmaker in River State.
Yes,
are you
please.
saying lawmaking in River State has not been up to the standard it's supposed to have been? Let's understand
Quite frankly, it has not been up to the standard.
Why do you?
I mean, for the longest of times, you are a journalist, and I can throw it.
Forget about
I can
forget
throw it
about
at
me. You are the guest
laws,
now.
Okay, how many laws did they create through the last 8 years? The House of Assembly suddenly
a plethora of laws, I should say.
Sorry, the House of Assembly suddenly came alive a few months to the election, creating.
Those were the ones that were made very public, but there were other laws that were made during. I could show
but
you.
Nonetheless, yeah. My point here is, and I don't want to derail. My point here is the taste of the pudding. It's in the pudding itself, right? If you have a group of people who are lawmakers that do not understand the basics of the law, then we have an issue.
Okay.
then we have an issue.
All right. I'm tempted to take another call, but I've got a commercial coming up in a bit. So maybe if I should just take one call and you wrap up in 60 seconds. And after the commercial, I'll get my guest to give us his final words. So I'm just going to quickly take this call. Let me take this myself. 92.3 Nigeria Info. But you've had your time now. No, you've had your time. Let's give room to other people so that they can, quickly say what is on your mind. Hello, greetings to you.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Sunday again from Bata State.
All right, you've got like 45 seconds, so quickly, straight to the point, please.
Please, I disagree with your guest.
Okay.
There was actually a crisis in Rivers PDP. If there was no crisis in Rivers PDP, what happened to the State Assembly? Why was some part of State Assembly burned down?
Is that
Are you speaking on the back of the law, or
is that PDP's problem or a government problem? I mean, I thought that was a security issue.
You said?
I thought that was a security issue. Is that a PDP problem or a security issue?
That was what led to the deception now. You are talking of deception.
I've got to go. Basically, when we come back, we'll look at that. Do stay tuned.
Oh yes, NASCO.
Nigerian for Hard Facts it is. I am Kalada Karubasaban. With me in the studio is Olumati Isaiah, and we have been talking. So, your final words, please.
Okay, so my final words, right? It doesn't matter how long it's really gonna take. I think that what we must do as a people is we must pursue to a logical conclusion the best rule of law. We must preserve as much as we can the Constitution, because this is what really gives direction. This is what really brings order to society. So if we are stepping into the ring, we are stepping in, or not if, we're already in the ring, right? We're stepping in, we're coming with all we have. And our goal is simple: to preserve, the sanity of our people, to preserve the law as it were, and see that we have our state running as it should be.
All right. I've been speaking with Olumati Isaiah. He was the candidate for Port Harcourt Constituency 1 Labour Party here in River State, and it's been my pleasure. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me, Kalada.
All right, we have to go for another break and then the news update. When I come back, we will talk development in River State. I mean Lagos, Abia State, those places. We're getting to hear stories, but when we come again, I will talk. Do stay tuned.